These are 5 things you must know before visiting Japan. Love hotels are hotels in Japan. They're specifically used for hookups and couples to sleep together. There are various types of rooms, ranging from the more classic romantic ones to the more adventurous and quirky ones as well. In love hotels, you can also borrow costumes and toys to spice up your night. Unlike regular hotels, love hotels are only designed for short-term stay. This could range anywhere from 3 minutes to a few hours, or if you're energetic, the whole night. Prices depend on the area, but usually $30 to $40 for a few hours and $80 to $100 for the whole night. But you might be wondering, why don't people just use their own houses and not hotels to hang out? There's 2 reasons for this. First, privacy. You don't want your parents or housemates to find out who you're sleeping with. I think Japanese people are very secretive with their sexual lives. Second, safety. It's much safer to hook up with someone you just met in a neutral place rather than going to their house or inviting them over. If you have a partner in Japan, you might consider going. If you come to Japan, you must use the toilets because Japan has the best toilets in the world. The first thing you'll notice is the heated seats. The seats are heated so that you don't have to feel cold when you're taking your dump. The toilets also have a button where if you click the button, it shoots water at your asshole to keep it clean and fresh. You can even change the temperature and the pressure of the water to your own liking. Furthermore, to hide the loud sounds you make while taking a dump, Japanese toilets have a feature where they play relaxing music such as waterfalls or bird chirping. If you come to Japan, make sure you use those bathrooms. Earthquakes happen frequently in Japan. You don't really have to worry about the small earthquakes, but the big ones could cause a lot of problems. Therefore, if you plan to stay in Japan, it's important you know how to prepare for earthquakes. Luckily, the Tokyo Fire Department lists 10 ways to prepare for an earthquake in their website. I found an English translation of it, so I'll put the link down below. But in case you don't read it, some of the key points include avoiding placing heavy objects in high areas so that it doesn't fall on you, and also preparing emergency supplies such as water and foods that don't go bad. They also share useful tips on how to prepare for other natural disasters as well, so make sure you go check their website. Hot springs are a weird concept if you look at it objectively. You bath naked with others in a small tub. I think we Japanese are very used to bathing naked with others because we do it from such a young age. But I could see why foreigners find the concept of hot springs a little weird. If you want to hide your private parts, rather than wearing a swimsuit, you should just put a towel around your waist. This is a more natural way because wearing a swimsuit is a little weird. For the women that are watching this, I don't know what happens on the other side, so I don't really have any advice for you. Sorry. You probably know most of the manners I'm about to discuss, so I'm just gonna go over it briefly. No tipping. Unlike America, you don't have to tip in Japan. Smoking. In Japan, there are smoking designated areas, and you could get into a lot of trouble if you smoke anywhere outside there. Shoes at home. In Japan, it's traditional to not wear shoes at home. So if you're going to enter someone's house, you should probably take your shoes off. Also, there are some public places that might ask you to take your shoes off. So watch out and just follow suit. These were the 5 things you must know before visiting Japan. Now that was just my opinion, so let's go find out what others in Japan think. What are some things you think foreigners should know before visiting Japan?
Good travel advice is like don't bring all of your toiletries, right? Because you can always buy what you need when you arrive. Okay. But do buy your deodorant. Do bring your deodorant. Okay. Don't buy your deodorant here because deodorant here is super duper weak. Because a lot of the Japanese just don't really have body odor. So like our deodorant in the West is like a lot stronger. So that's something you want to bring with you. Okay. And I would say maybe don't get surprised if you get turned away certain places as a foreigner. Okay. There's certain places, certain types of establishments that are a little more cultural experiences, we'll just put it that way, that may only deal with Japanese customers. But occasionally I've actually found that certain restaurants and stuff are difficult to get into if you're a foreigner. Simply because their staff doesn't speak English. They don't have any English speakers on the staff. They assume you can't speak Japanese. Nice man. I saw your face. So they don't have staff that and they're too busy. So if they're busy place and they don't have anyone that can speak any English at all, they assume it's going to be very difficult, and they will say no to you.
So it's not like they hate foreigners or like they're against. Yeah, it's like racism.
Yeah, it's not a racism thing. It's literally just like a service thing, and I think that maybe they just want to provide the best service or something, and they see it as. I never viewed it as a racism thing. There are still cash only places. A lot of smaller mom and pop places can still only be cash only. There's usually a sign that will say so. Okay. Especially if it's in a place where there's definitely going to be more foreigners around, you'll see that. But there are actually cashless places now, which is actually very surprising for Japan. But I think COVID had a lot to do with that. So the places that will only accept electronic payment.
What do you think are some must-know things before coming to Japan for foreigners?
You gotta know how to do the districts, like the areas, because Shibuya, Shinjuku, like all those kind of places, like you don't know where to go. Like there's so much stuff to explore. We just found out like the Paris Tower, or like not Paris Tower, the Tokyo Tower. Yeah. It's like it's an hour walk from here, and if you don't get the right hotel, you're gonna be stuck like with transportation, just walking everywhere.
Do a lot of research.
Yeah, there's so much to go through here.
Like, are there any like tips on doing the research?
The only thing we got was a JR pass and a Suica card. We Googled some stuff, but we don't know the areas, so it's kind of like we saw like Shibuya as a very modernized, like cool looking place, but that's about it. You know, we didn't. I kind of wish we knew what this place was. I don't even know where we are now. The TripAdvisor doesn't work for anything because it's just mostly foreigners or Americans like judging stuff, and it's like top 10 restaurants are most just like gonna be like a cafe that's American based or Italian, or like it's not really Japanese culture you're getting. So you gotta Google Translate everything to figure out, okay, so this is what I want in English, and I Google Translate it into Japanese, and then you Google it. And then you find like local recommendations.
Were there any like culture shock coming to Japan?
You gotta slurp your food.
Like noodles.
Yeah, the noodles. That's a weird one.
You go into ramen restaurants and they're like slurping.
Yeah, you gotta.
Is that not normal?
That's not normal anywhere else. No.
Absolutely.
Like, is it like weird or?
It's like kind of frowned upon in Denmark. If
really?
Like,
okay. But here it's like you gotta.
Yeah, you gotta do the opposite. Yeah.